contest is scheduled for one fall. Can we have the first competitor to the ring, please?
And we continue with the action here at iCast Fireball. I am joined now by the Dragon Kingdom General Manager, Mr. Reese Baldwin. And we commence with the Brilliance.
James Ellis, one of the, since day one, joining the Kingdom.
Brilliance, James.
He's got a bit of an attitude, but can you blame him?
James Ellis, one of the more arrogant members of any roster he finds himself on. But I can assure you, he can and will back it up. The Brilliance, always good as gold. Every single time he steps in the squared circle, he proves just that. Not a single match I have ever seen with this man where he has not blown me away, Reese.
So ever since joining the Kingdom, what I've noticed about James Ellis is he really does back up that moniker. He is the Brilliance, he's always good as gold. He was actually the winner, the first ever triple threat match in Dragon Kingdom history, and the results speak for itself. He didn't quite catch the Trinity Championship back in November, but I'm sure he's looking to kick off 2025 right and course correct.
Well, you made a good point there. James Ellis, a triple threat magnet here in Dragon Kingdom. Singles matches maybe not coming his way as often in this company as one may think. As you said, he came up short at our last event, not able to become the inaugural Trinity champion, but he did defeat Jay Joshua and Leon Brando at the inaugural event, and would also defeat Leon Cage and Alexander Vane. But aside from that, we are yet to see this man step toe-to-toe one-on-one.
And that'll be a different scenario entirely. You should think he has a better chance. There's only one opponent, but it depends who that opponent is.
You do not have to look behind you in a singles match, but you do have to have your wits about you when you're against a man like this. A man that has confidently gone toe-to-toe with a Welsh Bull. Lionel Da Silva debuted all the way back now in September against J.J. Roberts. Now, he may not have defeated the Welsh Bull, but that is thanks in no small part to the antics of the Omission. When the Omission are not around, Lionel Da Silva is one of the most impressive young athletes coming up through the system right now. And I think even in defeat, he proved that he can hang with some of the very best. And that, I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, is what spurred you to put him in the ring tonight with the Brilliance, James Ellis.
That's exactly right, Kai, exactly right. He may have fallen short in his last encounter here, but he proved he has the skills, he has the potential. He's one of the rising stars that we've seen today, and we want to see what more he can give to the Kingdom.
Lionel Da Silva, the lost cause. I'm sure he's hoping to prove that he is not, in fact, a lost cause here in Dragon Kingdom. With only one defeat against him, he currently has the same amount of defeats in this company as James Ellis. The only thing separating those two win-loss records is the triple threat victories of James Ellis, as we mentioned previously. But now, the time for talk, I would assume, is over, but James Ellis...
You can never count him out of that.
James Ellis will talk underwater and in his sleep, and in his sleep underwater. There is nothing that can shut James Ellis up.
Oh, James Ellis, a bit too cocky there. And he paid for it.
James Ellis not happy. The Lionel Da Silva momentarily got the better of him. Leapfrog from the Brilliance. Hold on. Blocked the hip toss. Gave him one of his own. Lionel Da Silva is locked in tonight.
If I was James Ellis, I would want to make sure I don't underestimate Lionel Da Silva.
James Ellis will never make the same mistake twice. He may have underestimated him in the get-go, but I can guarantee you throughout this match, James Ellis will start to take notice and will start to throw absolutely everything he has at Lionel Da Silva. But right now, Da Silva over the top, off the ropes. The paycheck and an enziguri. And James Ellis, he's on Dream Street.
Very powerful scoop slam there.
Took him on tour with that one. But Lionel Da Silva, maybe a little bit of his inexperience showing. I personally would have gone in for a cover there over James Ellis. Having seen a lot of his matches, I know that you give this man time to recover, and that could be the death of you. But right now, it's looking good for Lionel Da Silva. Hooked the leg. Kick out at number 2 for the Brilliance.
Oh, Silva going up high. Now this is a very risky game. You don't let Brilliance breathe because he will come back harder.
Lionel Da Silva likes to go up top. We saw this against JJ Roberts, but I'm sure he's going to start liking it a lot less after that one. Using the referee to his advantage, James Ellis in one swift leap got to the top rope and threw Lionel Da Silva straight down into the cover again. 1.
It's the issue.
Just a 2.
When you're fighting James Ellis, it only takes a split second and the tide is turned, and Silva is paying for taking his time.
James Ellis, one of the cleverest professional wrestlers I think you're ever going to come across. His ring IQ is second to none. Some may even call him Pro Wrestling Einstein. James Ellis thinks faster than anyone can move and acts quicker than anyone can believe.
One more time.
But he also has the ability to take things slow, be methodical, wear his opponents down physically and mentally, and I think that is what he's trying to do right now against Lionel.
Like you said, Einstein, if he was a wrestler, he'd be reincarnated as James Ellis.
I don't know, I think James Ellis looks a little bit better than Einstein.
You're not wrong.
I mean, look at James Ellis. I feel like when I met James Ellis many moons ago now, back in a different life, James Ellis, he was someone who liked pro wrestling. Now, the James Ellis we see today is someone who lives and breathes professional wrestling. Well, hold on, Lionel Da Silva. 1. Making our referee earn his paycheck. Reversal for Lionel. The high knee from Ellis. And Da Silva is down.
The crowd letting Ellis know what they think of him, and well, he doesn't care, clearly.
James Ellis cares about the opinion of one person and one person only, and that is James Ellis. But hold on, Lionel Da Silva might not be able to get to a vertical base, but he can use his legs to kick Ellis, and Ellis can use his hands to hit him square in the face. Looking for a touch of brilliance, but Lionel Da Silva blocking it with a headlock. And James Ellis, for his part, a backbreaker and a hammerlock, driving the arm into the mat. And now Ellis in firm control.
What Ellis doesn't want to do is fall back into that pattern of underestimating Silva. He wants to make sure he puts Silva down, don't let him breathe, because much like it happened earlier, Silva could very much come back.
He absolutely can. His nickname, much of a misnomer, the Lost Cause. I'm not quite sure what that's meant to signify, because all I see in Lionel Da Silva is heaps and heaps of promise and potential. Whether he is able to make good on that potential tonight remains to be seen, as he's in there with one of the country's very best, one of the most decorated wrestlers in 2024, James Ellis. Whether it be Internet Championships, Heavyweight Championships, Tag Team Championships, James Ellis racks them up like they are going out of fashion.
It's an impressive resume, and I'm sure when it comes to Dragon Kingdom, he's targeting championships like there's no tomorrow.
Well, right now we've got the Trinity Championship and, of course, the tournament to crown the first women's champion, of which we'll see another quarter-final shortly following this match tonight. But I'm not sure James Ellis is quite eligible for that second championship.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong there, Kai. Now we see two are down at the moment. They just need to get back to their feet to try and get the win. Whoever gets up first, you got to think, is going to be in their favor.
Well, you can't win the match when you're down on your back, but if you're both down, you can lose it. Referee, if he'd reached a 10, then that would have been a draw, but both men able to get to their feet, and now they're slugging it out.
Plenty of fight from Silva.
Ellis underneath, sending Da Silva into the ropes, goes for a clothesline, but Lionel Da Silva catching the movements of James Ellis. I'm beginning to think the Einstein of pro wrestling was applied to the wrong man. Lionel Da Silva seems to be 12 steps ahead tonight, but he's thinking something rather dangerous. Could be the exclamation point. Not sure he could get all of it with that injury to the arm though, Reese.
Yeah, no, you can't get the leverage on that.
Into the cover, but not able to get a lot of leverage on that pin either. The perfect pin over the shoulders, hook the leg, high stack. If you've got all your body weight on the shoulders, it is very hard for your opponent to kick out.
Absolutely.
In this case, Lionel Da Silva was in no way able to achieve the perfect combination.
You can see Silva still favoring that arm as he tries to go to the top now.
Lionel to the top, thinking perhaps the lost horizon. James Ellis moves out of the way. Da Silva very lucky to catch himself. This referee not had the best of luck this evening, but Ellis to the eyes of Da Silva, and now looking for a touch of brilliance, but again trying to block it, but that arm is free. Super kick from the Brilliance. What is he thinking here? Torture rack powerbomb from Ellis, but it wasn't enough to keep the lost cause down.
You can see Ellis pleading with the referee. He's now maybe doubting himself, which I'd never think I'd say about Ellis.
There's a lot of comparisons to be drawn between James Ellis and Lionel Da Silva. James Ellis made a lot of money in his life. Lionel Da Silva coming from money, but I think Lionel Da Silva changed his attitude to all that. It's not all about that for him, whereas Ellis is all about being in this business to make as much money as humanly possible, and of course win as many championships as he can as well. And now Ellis to the top rope, looking for the elbow drop, but Da Silva moved out of the way, and now it's the arm of Ellis that seems to be worse for wear, and Lionel Da Silva scaling the ropes once again. One swift leap to the top, and it is lost horizon. 1, 2, and Da Silva, in perhaps the upset of the night, has defeated the Brilliance, James Ellis.
And your winner of the match, Lionel Da Silva.
I'm not sure exactly what about this cause is lost, but Lionel Da Silva may have just won the biggest match of his career so far. James Ellis is not a man that loses often, and he is not a man that loses one-on-one, definitely, but he has tonight. And Lionel Da Silva knows how monumental of a victory this is, Reese.
I think it's quite clear this one's got a very good future here at Dragon Kingdom and across the scene.
One more time for your winner, Lionel Da Silva.
If you can beat the Brilliance, then you can beat anyone.